Welcome to the Cowgirl Basketball Roundup with Coach Jim Littell, and we're glad to have you along as the Oklahoma State Cowgirls off to a great start. And Coach, coming into this season, you had one player in Brittany Martin who played significant minutes, starting type minutes. Then you had Roderica Patton, who had kind of earned that starting position, but was only averaging about 15 minutes per ball game last year. And everybody else was newcomers. Coming into this year, I have a feeling you guys had quite a few question marks.
We did have a lot of question marks, Casey, a lot of concerns, a lot of where are we going to get the rebounds, where are we going to get the points, and we've answered some of those questions, but there's still some remaining.
No doubt about it, but when you look at it, Coach, 7-0, you called Kaylee Jensen an X factor. Mandy Coleman's kind of been an X factor. You've had kids start to fill those roles, and this team's starting to take shape.
It is starting to take shape. People are identifying their roles. At times, we're developing that third and fourth scores. You know, our program's always kind of been based around getting 4 people in double figures and adding some other people with 7, 8, 9, and we're slowly starting to do that.
No doubt, this team has definitely started to have a good feel to it as they have won 7 games in a row to start the season. We're going to talk about one of those games. We'll take a quick break. We'll talk about the matchup with ORU. We'll do that next as we continue with the Cowgirl Basketball Roundup with Coach Littell right after this. Welcome back once again to the show. As we have really had an opportunity to see this Cowgirl team play several times, we're going to kind of get you guys caught up a little bit on some of the games and the action. And we're going to start with the Oral Roberts game, a game in which the Cowgirls were victorious by a final of 59-55, Coach. And you knew going in that defense that they run, the Twilight Zone, would probably create a few problems.
You know, they do some things, Casey, that we don't normally see, and it's hard to simulate and practice what they do. And give Oral Roberts credit. I thought they played extremely well. Their players competed, and we had a game on our hands.
You talk about competing. That young lady did for sure. Kaylee Jensen, 21 points. And, Coach, you guys did a good job defensively against them. We see Mandy Coleman get the block there. Your defense was just as complicated for them.
We did a good job and limited them to one shot a lot of the night and identified their scores. And it was a night that we had to win and grind a game out and win with defense and rebounding.
Nice play there, a little circus save by Roderica Patton, Coach. But you look at the numbers, and there's a Carly Wheeler came in, gave you some very good minutes in this ball game. In this game, you got an opportunity to get several kids in to kind of see what they were capable of.
You know, we did, and we're still trying to find our rotation off the bench, and that's slowly coming together. But all these kids have got an opportunity, and we just need to see a little more production out of some of them.
17 offensive rebounds, and you just saw Kaylee Jensen get one there. Coach, you had 17 points off of those 17 offensive rebounds. That's extremely efficient.
That's been a big part of our game. We really stress offensive rebounding and where we're going to bring people to the backside boards, and for the most part this year, we've done a great job on the offensive boards.
Fantastic entry pass and great finish by Kaylee Jensen. But the one passing it was Brittany Martin, Coach, and 21 points in this game. She has taken it to another level in her senior season.
She's playing extremely well, and I think the thing that I'm most proud of her about is she's become a great leader, and she's become an outstanding practice player as well. And when you got that talent level, and you come to work every day, good things are going to happen.
She is second among the leaders in the nation among steals, and we saw one there in the finish in the run-out bucket. And Coach, you knew going in it would be tough. That was maybe one of the first real tough tests at home. You guys certainly answered the bell in that one.
You know, we were proud to get a win on that, and it probably did us more good, Casey, than having a 30 or 40-point blowout. To have our ladies have to play a full 40 minutes, execute some things down near the end of the game, and we had some players step up and make plays when we needed it.
Following the Golden Eagles, the Cowgirls moved to a Power 5 opponent, Washington State, another win. We'll look at the highlights from that one after we take another quick timeout. Welcome back once again to the show, and we are just kind of getting you caught up on this 7-0 start for the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. And following the ORU game, Coach, you took on Washington State, and let's look at those highlights. And, you know, this one coming in, this Washington State team, we knew because of several things, including their youngster named Haristova, who was the #1 European player in the country, or coming out as a high schooler last year. This was going to be a great opponent.
We knew they were going to be tough and very talented young player that could score in a lot of different ways, and they had good height, good athleticism, understood the game, played smart, and I was very proud to come out with a win here because it was a quality opponent.
Coach, you looked and saw the couple of plays there by Elena Simon, and you've been talking about third scores, fourth scores. Well, she had 16 off of 31 minutes in this ball game, and she was a huge part of this victory.
Well, she was a deciding factor in the game. Brittany Martin got in early foul trouble. Kaylee Jensen picked up 2 fouls in the first 5 minutes of the game, and we needed someone to come in and be productive, and Elena had a great ball game.
We saw her athleticism. You see it there, Coach, running the floor, getting the finish, and she really showed what athletic ability she has.
She's got some athleticism. She's got the ability to put the ball on the floor and create for herself and create for other people, and that's something we haven't had here in a while, and it's an added component that's going to help us out as the season progresses.
Coach, you guys were down by 1 at halftime, and you won this game in the third quarter, 21-10, and we see the run, part of the run right here. You guys in that third quarter, this is where you came out of the locker room and dominated the ball game.
We did, and we were able to get Kaylee back on the floor and get Brittany back on the floor, and that makes a huge difference for us. But I thought our players came out and did a great job in the first 4 or 5 minutes of establishing how we wanted to play the game.
Coach, what I love about that scene in that huddle right there, all the smiles, all the finishes. In fact, Kaylee Jensen had 4 and 1 opportunities in this game, converted 3 of them. Your kids are playing with a smile on their face. They're having some fun.
They're having fun, and there's a lot of positive emotion. You see Brittany reacting to a 3 by Sydney Walton there, and anytime you can have fun and get wins and appreciate how your teammates are playing, it's a good setting.
And you look at it again, Coach, you had Carly Weeder come in. She had to have 16 minutes off the bench because of kind of the play initially with trying to settle things down. Didn't have a great stat line, but those were some very quality, quiet minutes for her.
You know, our freshmen continue to get better each day in practice. They continue to get better at each outing, and we're going to have to count on them. I love our freshman class, but the problem is sometimes it's a little scary having to count on freshmen. But they've done great, and they're going to continue to get better.
So far, so good. We need to take a break. We'll talk about Texas Rio Grande Valley, better known in the past as Texas Pan American. Who are they? How did that one turn out? We'll talk about that one coming up next. Welcome back to the Cowgirl Basketball Roundup with Coach Jim Littell. And Coach, okay, the next one is against a team that everybody kind of said who, and it was Texas Rio Grande Valley. But they're better known as Texas Pan American, and they've got a heck of a coach.
You know, Larry Tidwell's done a great job, and he was formerly at TCU and top-line recruiter and helped establish that program and the success that he and Jeff Mitty had there. And he turned a Lamar program around, and now he's turned Texas Pan Am program around, and they came in here with some good athletes. It was a team that had played TCU down to the wire at TCU, and we knew we had a ball game on our hands.
And you know, Coach, you look at, because of the results, you said it in the post game, a score like they had against TCU as late in that game as it was, get your attention. Yet you guys come out, and what the thing that was really impressive, 26-13 after the first quarter. You jumped on them early, and you never let them off the mat.
You know, we tell our players that you can win a lot of games in the first 5 minutes of the game or first 5 minutes of the second half. And I thought our players were really ready to play, responded early, and Brittany Martin came out with 14 points in the first quarter. That doesn't hurt.
No, absolutely not. Again, Coach, fantastic offensive rebound. You had 16 of those. 19 assists of the 32 made buckets. That's something else that we haven't talked a ton about so far on the show. You guys have done a great job of assisting and getting other people open on the floor.
We have, and you know, except for one game, our turnover to assist ratio has been good, and we need to continue to do that. But this is a team that will share the ball. They're very unselfish. They don't care who scores, and that's a very good trait. To have a lot of assists on your basket scored.
50% from the field, Coach, you'll take that night in and night out.
You know, I think that a big part of that is what you do on the offensive boards and getting more and better shots than your opponents. And when you can get some putbacks and some transition baskets, that's going to lead to a high shooting percentage.
And there's a great example of the extra pass by Gentry Holt, who gets the assist on that one. And Caitlin Lecker, Coach, she stepped up in this one. Again, a young lady that's trying to come off that injury from a year ago. And You see her, again, her play is not probably as good as she wants it to be, as consistent as she wants it to be, but she's got some great minutes and some things like that she can really give you.
You could count on Kate to always play hard, to always compete, know what we're doing on the floor, know our system, and she's very important to us, and she needs to play well for the Cowgirls to play well.
There's that patented smile from Kaylee Jensen again, fantastic there. And Coach, the other thing that really stood out to me in this ball game, you had 31 bench points. Continuing talking about developing scores, there wasn't a lot with double figures necessarily, but there was a ton of kids with 6, 7, 8, 9 points.
You know, the game before, I believe we had Brittany Martin in double figures and Kaylee Jensen in double figures, and then no one with more than one basket. I'd prefer to have those box scores where there's 7, 8, 9 in it, and we did in this game.
Is Brittany Martin underappreciated?
Not by me. Not by me. I know how good she is. I watch her every day, and I think you take for granted sometimes how good she is and how special she is. She's very smooth. She plays to a different level. She's playing the best basketball of her career right now.
26 points and 12 in the win as the Cowgirls get it done, 78-54. We need to take our final break. When we come back, the Cowgirls really stepping up in competition. The next time out, we'll preview that one. The Tar Heels of North Carolina coming to Gallagher Drive Arena. That and more straight ahead. Welcome back for our final time on the Cowgirl Basketball Roundup with Coach Jim Littell. And Coach, we're going to talk about North Carolina coming up here in just a minute. But let's go back. Again, 7-0 on the season. So many question marks coming in. You've got to be proud of the way these kids have stepped up. You've had new leaders. You've had new role players. And we talked about it, the smiles. This camaraderie on this team is phenomenal.
The chemistry is excellent, and we knew that going in, and these are kids that really like each other on and off the floor. They're very unselfish. They play that way. They appreciate being around each other every day, and chemistry in basketball, as in any sport's important, but on the women's side, it's very important.
There's no doubt. And when you look at this Big 12 as a whole, you look at some of the results with Iowa State and some of the losses, there have been a lot of surprising losses out of this conference, yet you guys have been able to stay above the fray. You had a close one against Missouri State. You've had some close calls, but the quality of opponent has been really good. The intentionality of the scheduling has been good, and because of that, you would think you guys are going to be better for it when we get to conference play.
You know, everyone plays some low majors, some mid majors, but we've really tried to stay out of that 300 RPI range. You look at every opponent that we've played so far. Other than Washington State, I think every one of the opponents is going to compete for a conference championship. Lamar, UT, Rio Grande Valley, Oral Roberts, I think you could just go down the line. Southern Illinois, Edwardsville. At the end of the year, you're going to see them in the first or second place in their conference.
Now we step it up another notch. North Carolina, the opponent coming in. And Coach, before we break down this game, the thing that people need, teams want in these types of games is a good crowd. They could really make a difference. We would love to have that place packed on Monday night.
Absolutely. We lost a tough game to them last year at Chapel Hill, and They're going to return. They had a lot of losses last year as far as people leaving and graduation, but they're going to have great athletes coming in here, and their season's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride. They've lost to some people that they probably shouldn't have, and then they beat Gonzaga the other night. And it's a team that's trying to find themselves, and they've continued to get better as the season progressed.
Sylvia Hatchell's team has been phenomenal at home, and they have lost a couple at home. But I know you don't necessarily think about the teams they've lost to. What you do is think about the teams they beat.
Absolutely, and I look at what they're capable of doing, and you know, a lot of the players that they still have were All-Americans, were all-state players, highly ranked by all the publications, so they're going to come in with good talent.
You look at their team, they've got 4 kids averaging double digits, and again, it's a little bit of a mystery how they've lost some of these games, but maybe as much as anything has not been necessarily a good rebounding team.
You know, we need to gain an advantage there. That's very important to us. Anytime we have a 12 to 16 shot advantage in the game, it equates to wins, and we need to make sure that we keep them off the boards and continue to hit the boards hard ourselves.
On the flip side, the Cowgirls have been phenomenal, plus 18 in the rebounding category. Monday night, North Carolina and your Oklahoma State Cowgirls at Gallagher-Iba Arena. Get your tickets. Coach, appreciate it. Best of luck in that one. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Casey.
That's going to do it for us. For Coach Jim Littell, I'm Casey Kendrick. We will see you next time on the Cowgirl Basketball Roundup with Coach Jim Littell.